Hello everybody, welcome back to Leeds from Kia Steel. This is Jordan, and today I have an important weather update, as we do have a potential for some severe weather later today. We do have a tropical system moving through the Atlantic that will likely form into a tropical depression or storm later this week, and we will likely see a tropical depression or storm develop in the Eastern Pacific later today from the remnants of Tropical Storm Mario, which dissipated a couple days ago. So anyways, let's head straight into this weather forecast. So first of all, we could see some severe weather later today, especially across south-central Nebraska and northwestern Kansas, as well as north-central South Dakota and central North Dakota. If we go to the tornado probabilities, the northern slight risk is driven by a tornado threat, a 5% tornado threat across central North Dakota and north central South Dakota, where we could see a couple to a few tornadoes later today. And the tornado risk extends from northwestern Kansas all the way into eastern and central North Dakota, where you could see a tornado or two later today from the storms that do form. Our wind threat is very large but relatively low. We have a 5% wind threat from the Texas Panhandle and western Texas through eastern and central Nebraska into western Minnesota and eastern and central North Dakota, where you could see some scattered damaging wind gusts later today. And for a hail threat, we have a small 15% hail threat across northwestern Kansas and south central Nebraska, where you could see some scattered large hail later today across those areas. And then we do also have a large 5% hail threat, where you could see some isolated large hail later today. Looking at tomorrow's outlook, we have nothing to talk about, mainly just some thunderstorms across the southeastern United States and also across much of the central United States. For our day 3 outlook, we actually do have a small marginal risk of severe weather across northwestern Kansas and a large chunk of Nebraska there. And here are your probabilities, 5% across the entire area. And looking at our day 4 through 8 outlook, we have potential too low for all these days, which means that we shouldn't see anything too significant in terms of severe weather after today. Looking at the weather predictions for excessive rainfall outlooks, we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall across western South Dakota and western North Dakota for today, where you can see some scattered flash flooding from those thunderstorms that develop, although this doesn't really align with their severe weather threat much. And then we have a marginal risk surrounding that across the same areas essentially into central South Dakota and central North Dakota. And we have another marginal risk of flash flooding across western Texas into south central Nebraska, where we could see some isolated flash flooding later today. And for tomorrow, for the first time in a while, we have no excessive rainfall outlook. And then for the day 3 excessive rainfall outlook, we have the marginal risk of excessive rainfall across northeastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia, another one across southeastern Arizona and southwestern New Mexico, and another one across western Kansas, eastern and central Nebraska into southeastern South Dakota, where you can see some isolated excessive rainfall and flash flooding on Tuesday. Now looking at the National Hurricane Center, we have one area of interest in the Atlantic, 10% chance of formation 48 hours, 70% chance of formation in 7 days. This is a tropical wave over the eastern tropical Atlantic, just to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. It isn't in a favorable environment right now, but in a couple of days it'll move it to a more favorable environment, and it'll likely to develop into a tropical depression later this week. Now look at the Eastern Pacific, you can see 70% chance of 48 hours, 70% in 7 days, and this is actually being treated as the same system as Mario, even though Mario did get absorbed into a broader low pressure area. This will likely form into a tropical storm or depression, possibly as early as this morning, but likely sometime today. Now look at this system, 30% chance of formation in 7 days. Probably a low pressure system that will develop off the coast of Mexico early this week, and it could develop as it moves to the northwest over the next few days after it develops. And then this has gone down. It is a low pressure area, but it doesn't look like it's going to develop just because it doesn't have as much cloud cover of it, and it's not in a super favorable environment anymore. Now look at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. We have one area of interest here, 98W, which is currently over the Philippines. Doesn't look like it's going to develop, but I will post another weather forecast likely in the next couple of days. So come back then to see if anything has changed with this system. Now looking at tropical tidbits for via satellite imagery here. Here is the area we are watching from the remnants of Mario. You can see very good convection on it, and you can see it does have that counterclockwise spin to it. It could form later today. Actually, it will likely form later today, and if it doesn't form later today, it will likely form tomorrow. Here's the remnants of Blossom, still there. You can see very, very weak area of low pressure here, but still there, because you can still see the broad area of counterclockwise spin, or clockwise spin I mean, because it's of the southern hemisphere. And then here's 98W. You can see it has a lot of convection, but it's relatively disorganized, although it is moving offline right now, and it could develop into something as it continues to move away from land. Now looking at the Google Weather Lab, you can see here with this system from the remnants of Mario, you can see it has it becoming a tropical storm, and then eventually it dissipates around Friday or Thursday here. Looking at the Atlantic. Oh. No. You can see that system there starting to develop, and then it moves. Some of the models have it getting very close to land, others have it going farther up north, but overall it takes a somewhat similar track to Aaron there. And looking at the Western Pacific, you can see we have one system to the east of the Philippines and another basically in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You can see this one actually gets quite strong. Some models have it becoming a Category 5, actually quite a few there. And then this one over here just curves off away from Japan, maybe getting close there. Not all of these will form probably, but this has been right and this has been wrong, but we'll see about how this all goes. So anyways, that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting down below, subscribing to my channel, and sharing this with my friends. And also, please consider watching the video I have posted in a recent post from my friend's channel, and go subscribe to his channel. He makes Minecraft videos and stuff, and I think you guys will really enjoy that. His channel name is The Overlord. Goodbye.